The night settles gently over a land that once breathed with the rhythm of the Middle Ages. The air is cool, filled with the faint scent of wood smoke and rain. A single lantern flickers on a wooden post beside a dirt path, its glow soft and golden, like a memory that refuses to fade. The world here is slow, unhurried, and endlessly patient. You can almost hear the earth exhale, the distant whisper of wind across the grass, the quiet hum of insects preparing for rest. This is where our journey begins, not in noise or chaos, but in stillness. As you listen, imagine yourself walking through this old world, your footsteps gentle on the soil, your mind calm, your body slowly unwinding. The past is not loud, it is soft, layered with silence, filled with lives that moved at the pace of the seasons. The village lies ahead, small and self-contained, surrounded by low fields and wooden fences. The homes are simple, their walls made of earth and straw, their roofs sloping under the weight of time. Smoke curls from chimneys and drifts into the cold evening air, carrying with it the smell of burning oak and baked bread. Somewhere, a door closes with a muted creak. Somewhere else, a dog settles down by the fire. The world is shrinking into sleep. In this place, there are no bright lights, no engines, no rush of hours. Time flows differently, measured not by clocks, but by the slow turning of the sky. People wake when dawn touches their windows and rest when darkness folds over the hills. The day's work is simple, tending to animals, gathering wood, drawing water from the well, mending the same tools that have been used for generations. Yet within this simplicity lies something rare, something steady. Each movement has a purpose, each sound has weight. The air is damp and heavy with life. You can hear the faint buzz of flies near the barn, the splash of water poured into a wooden bucket, the low murmur of voices sharing a few words before sleep. The people of this village do not dream of distant lands or riches. Their world is here, bound to the soil beneath their feet. They have learned to live with the land, to read its moods, the promise in the morning fog, the warning in the scent of coming rain. Their lives are not easy, but they are steady, built on rhythm and endurance. As night deepens, the sounds fade. The last firelight flickers through the cracks of wooden shutters. The streets are empty, the well silent, the air thick with rest. Above, stars bloom across the sky, endless and bright. For those who look up, they are the same stars we see now, unchanged, through centuries, untouched by time. The people of this age sleep beneath them with quiet hearts, their dreams small but full of peace. If you stand here long enough, you begin to feel the stillness settling over everything. The village breathes like a single living thing, slow and even. The ground is cool beneath your feet. The wind tastes faintly of smoke and ash. You can almost hear the rhythm of life moving beneath the surface, ancient and unbroken. This is a world where every sound carries, where silence is its own kind of comfort. The medieval world was harsh in many ways, but in its quiet corners there was beauty. The calm after work, the soft laughter shared by firelight, the way the morning sun touched the thatched roofs in gold. Here, every day was both a burden and a gift. People rose with the dawn, worked until their hands grew rough, and ended each night with a slow exhale. The world turned, and they turned with it, unhurried, accepting, alive. And so the night stretches on. The mist thickens, curling around the low rooftops and the stone walls. A sense of calm descends, deep, grounding, endless. You walk farther down the path, past the barns and the sleeping fields, until all you hear is the sound of your own breath blending with the breath of the earth. The village fades into the background, and the only light left is the faint, shimmer of the stars. The past is quiet now. It welcomes you gently, without fear or noise. Here you can rest. Here you can listen. Here time itself is asleep. The rhythm of simple days. Morning arrives without hurry. The mist still clings to the fields, soft and weightless, as if the earth itself is not yet ready to wake. The first sounds are gentle, the bleat of a sheep in the meadow, the scrape of wood as someone stirs the ashes of a dying fire. Smoke rises once again, curling upward in slow spirals, carrying the smell of life beginning anew. The village stretches, yawns and breathes. Nothing moves quickly here, and that is its quiet beauty. The people step into the light, their feet sinking slightly into the damp soil. They do not speak much in the early hours. Words are saved for when they are needed. A wooden bucket lowers into the well with a hollow echo, and water splashes against its sides, clear and cold. The same well has stood for generations, carved by hands long forgotten, its stones polished smooth by time. Children gather near the fence, their laughter still soft with sleep. A rooster calls from somewhere unseen, and a slow day begins again. The fields are the heart of this world. Every furrow in the earth tells a story of patience. Men and women move across the land with tools worn smooth by years of use. Their motions are steady, unchanging, as if their bodies remember the rhythm better than their minds. The soil is dark and rich, and as it turns under their hands, it releases the deep scent of growth and decay. The wind carries whispers from the trees at the edge of the field, old secrets too faint to understand. Time moves differently here. The sun's rise marks work, and its fall marks rest. There is no rush to finish, no thought of tomorrow, only the quiet endurance of now. When the heat of the day grows heavy, people pause to drink from wooden cups, the water cool and metallic against their tongues. Someone hums a tune, slow and aimless, not meant to be heard by anyone else. The song drifts across the field and disappears into the air. Back in the village, the smell of baking bread fills the lanes, the ovens crackle, the crusts darken, and smoke curls through the open windows. A woman kneads dough with calm precision, her hands coated in flour. A small cat circles near her feet, waiting patiently for crumbs. There is no sound of machines, no clatter or clang, only the pulse of daily life moving at a pace older than memory. Every sound has space to breathe, every motion carries meaning. Children play near the well, their bare feet slapping against the stones. Their laughter rises and falls like birdsong, bright for a moment, then gone. A man repairs a fence with quiet focus. Another sharpens a blade, the metal glinting in the afternoon light. There is no sense of rush, no plan beyond the present. In this world, patience is the only measure of strength. The sun moves slowly overhead, turning gold as it touches the rooftops. The shadows grow long, painting the ground in deep grey stripes. The day folds itself gently toward evening. Work ends, not with a signal, but with the simple fading of light. The villagers gather what they have done, stack the tools by the barn, and brush the dust from their clothes. Their hands ache, their backs are tired, but there is peace in this exhaustion. It is honest, it is earned. As they return home, the sounds shift once again. The creak of doors, the bubbling of stew in iron pots, the low hum of quiet conversation, the smell of smoke and herbs fills the air. Children sit near the fire, eyes heavy, heads nodding. The day is closing, but not sharply. It drifts, soft and slow, from light to dark. Outside, the sky deepens to blue, then indigo. The last light glimmers on the surface of the well. A faint breeze stirs the tall grass, bending it in waves. From far off, the faint hoot of an owl marks the coming of night. And as the stars begin to bloom, the world takes on its most peaceful shape. There is a quiet rhythm to this life, one that asks nothing but presence. There is hardship, yes, but there is also balance. Each dawn begins the same, each dusk ends the same. The people live within this circle, neither fighting nor fleeing from it. They find meaning not in grand moments, but in small ones: the turning of earth, the warmth of fire, the laughter of a child before sleep. When the night finally settles, the village breathes out a long, steady sigh. The fires dim to embers, the streets fall silent, and the cool scent of earth fills the air. Inside, families sleep close together, wrapped in coarse blankets. Outside, the fields rest beneath the moonlight. The soil cools, the leaves tremble lightly, and the world hums with a slow and steady calm. The medieval night is vast and deep, but not empty. It holds the quiet pulse of life continuing, unbroken and unafraid. And as you listen, you can feel that same rhythm echoing through your own breath, the calm repetition of being alive, moment by moment, without hurry, without fear. The old world drifts into stillness and you drift with it. Sleep, if you wish. Let the air of that ancient world settle softly around you. The fields will remain, the fires will glow, the people will rise again with the morning light. Everything endures, quietly, gently, endlessly. Hardship and endurance. The world does not stay kind for long. Even in the quietest villages, hardship arrives like winter fog, slow and inevitable. The people of this time do not meet it with anger, but with the same calm they give to every season. Life is not easy here, but it moves with purpose. When the wind changes, the fields begin to fade. The green turns dull, the soil hardens, and the harvest grows thin. The air cools, carrying the sharp scent of rain. People speak less during these days. They gather what remains, counting it carefully, stacking each sheaf of grain as though it were gold. Hunger is not a stranger. It is an old companion that visits when the earth grows weary. Inside the cottages, light glows from small fires. The walls are made of wattle and clay, thin enough for the wind to find its way through. The people pull their cloaks tighter, huddling near the warmth. Bread becomes smaller, broth thinner. Yet there is no despair, only endurance. They have lived through seasons worse than this. They know that patience is the only answer to the cold. A child coughs softly near the fire. A mother hums, her voice no louder than a whisper. Outside, the rain begins again, tapping gently on the roof. Each drop is a reminder that the world, though harsh, is alive. The rhythm of life continues, unbroken, unending. There are no great miracles in these nights, no sudden gifts from the sky, only the slow work of hands and heart. The people mend what they can, trade what they must, and trust that spring will come again. Their strength lies not in conquest or glory, but in quiet persistence. They endure because they must. In the darker weeks of winter, the sky itself feels heavy. Days shorten until light becomes a memory. The villagers move through dim rooms guided by small flames. The air smells of smoke and straw. Time slows to a crawl. The sound of chopping wood carries across the fields, a steady, measured rhythm, the echo of survival. When food grows scarce, people share. A bowl of stew passed between neighbors, a crust of bread divided in silence. There is dignity in this kind of kindness. They do not speak of charity. They speak of necessity, of balance, of keeping one another alive. The act of giving becomes a language older than words. Snow falls at last. It covers the land in stillness, erasing the marks of labor and the lines of the road. The village seems to disappear beneath the white. Fires burn longer now, the nights stretching endlessly. Inside, the heat from the hearth feels sacred, not in a spiritual sense, but as warmth itself, pure and simple. The people sleep close, wrapped in shared blankets, their breathing rising and falling together. And yet even now there is beauty. The sound of wind through bare branches, the sparkle of frost at dawn, the faint light that glows across the snow. Life slows until it feels like a dream. The people do not fear it. They have learned to rest inside it. For them, silence is not emptiness. It is a kind of peace. In the distance, wolves cry. The sound travels far across the frozen fields, thin and lonely. The animals, too, are part of this story, moving through the same rhythm of need and survival. The people listen, but do not move. The fire is their center, their protection, their sun in the heart of night. When the first signs of spring appear, they come quietly. A drop of water slipping from the roof, a patch of dark soil beneath the snow, a bird's call carried on the wind. Hope here is not loud or sudden. It grows in silence. The people step outside, blinking against the weak light. Their faces are lined, their hands rough, but their eyes reflect something soft. The world is still turning. They have survived again. Work begins once more. Tools are repaired, seeds are sorted, the soil is turned with careful hands. Every act is deliberate, steady. The rhythm of the land returns as if it had only been sleeping. The air smells of wet earth and smoke. The sound of life begins to hum again, low, patient, and endless. Children chase each other near the stream, their laughter clear and bright against the cold air. The adults smile faintly, their bodies weary, but their spirits lightened. The worst has passed. They will eat again. They will rebuild what was lost. They do not dream of wealth or comfort. Their dreams are made of smaller things, a full stomach, a dry roof, a quiet night without fear. Through it all, the people learn to listen, to the earth, to the wind, to one another. The lessons of hardship are not spoken, they are felt. They teach patience, humility, endurance. They teach the art of finding calm within struggle. As the sun sets over the thawing fields, the land shines with a thin golden light. Smoke rises once more from the cottages, steady and familiar. The people move slowly, carrying water, tending fires, repairing fences. The day fades the same way it began, without hurry, without noise, wrapped in the quiet dignity of survival. Night comes again, soft and deep. The stars return to their places. The village lies still, its heart beating quietly beneath the layers of time. The hardships of this world are not meant to break its people, only to shape them. Their endurance becomes their strength, their simplicity becomes their peace. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it, the faint rhythm of life continuing in the dark, steady and unbroken. A world built not on wealth or victory, but on quiet persistence, day after day, season after season. It is a lesson whispered by history itself, that even in hardship there is gentleness, even in struggle there is grace. And as the night deepens, the world once again begins to rest. The fires dim, the wind softens, and the same stars that watched these people centuries ago now watch you. Their light has not changed. The rhythm has not changed. Only the silence remains, eternal, calm, and kind. The fragile balance of safety and community. The stars that watched the people of this world long ago still hang quietly above them, silent witnesses to their endless rhythm. Beneath that sky, the village lies wrapped in a fragile calm. Its people have learned, through years and storms and hunger, that safety is not something given. It is something built, piece by piece, in the quiet acts of ordinary life. The heart of safety in these times is trust. Each cottage stands close to the next, not only for warmth, but for nearness. When danger comes, it is met not by one, but by all. The walls are thin, the doors simple, yet the bonds between neighbors are thick as rope. In the silence of night, a cough, a cry, or a whisper travels easily through the cold air, and someone always hears. The village is small, perhaps 30 homes surrounded by low fences and open fields. The paths between them are narrow, cut into the earth by generations of footsteps. There are no guards at the edges, no gates to lock. The people rely on one another and on the rhythm of their days. Danger, when it comes quietly. An animal in the dark, a stranger on the road, a fire that burns too hot. But the people have grown wise in the art of watching. A light in a window, a soft sound in the wrong hour, the tilt of the wind. They notice these things. They have learned to listen not only with their ears, but with their patience. When the nights grow longer, they take turns tending the fires. Someone stays awake until dawn, mending tools, weaving rope, or carving handles from wood. The others sleep, knowing that one set of eyes remains open. It is a duty and a comfort. There are no written rules about this, only understanding passed down through time. Sometimes travelers pass through the village. They come on foot or with a small cart carrying cloth, tools, or salt. They are greeted with careful kindness. Food is shared, stories exchanged, but always with quiet watchfulness. The people here have seen enough winters to know that warmth and caution must live side by side. Strangers bring news, but they also bring risk. The villagers weigh both carefully, as if holding balance in their palms. In the soft hours before dawn, when the mist still lies low over the fields, the village feels almost timeless. You can imagine standing there, hearing the faint clatter of a bucket, the distant lowing of a cow. The first light begins to stretch across the roofs, brushing the thatch with pale silver. Somewhere, a rooster calls, its cry sharp but familiar. The new day begins not with urgency, but with acceptance. As the sun rises, the people emerge once again. The village wakes like a slow heartbeat. The old man who tends the animals opens the gate to the field. The woman who bakes bread lifts the heavy lid of her clay oven. Smoke rises again from the chimneys, tracing the same patterns it has for generations. These small rituals are their defense against chaos. The world beyond may shift and change, but here, the sameness of routine is a wall, invisible yet strong. At midday, the village hums with a quiet energy. The market square, little more than a clearing near the well, comes alive. People exchange grain for cloth, tools for salt, eggs for milk. Voices blend into a soft, steady murmur carried on the breeze. Children chase each other between the stalls, laughing in bursts before vanishing behind the crowd. Life continues, gentle and unhurried, held together by habit and care. The sense of safety they feel is not perfect. It is fragile, like glass, clear and delicate. Everyone knows it can break at any time. Yet perhaps that is what gives it meaning. They protect it with their work, with their eyes, with their hearts. At night, when they sit near the fire and listen to the wind, they know that the same flame warming them could burn their homes if untended. Everything here depends on balance, the fire that gives light, the rain that nourishes and destroys, the trust that comforts and exposes. When the weather turns, the balance shifts. Heavy storms sweep through the valley, bending trees and flooding paths. The people work together, carrying stones to reinforce the walls, tying rope around weak beams, keeping the animals safe. In the dim light, their movements are quiet but sure. The storm rages, but inside, the fires burn steady. They know that nothing is permanent, not the cold, not the hunger, not even fear. Each storm is met the same way, with patience, with unity, with hands that never stop working. When calm returns, the world seems washed clean. The fields glisten. The air smells of wet grass and new beginnings. The people step outside, blinking at the brightness. The roots drip slowly, each drop landing with a soft sound on the earth below. Children gather puddles with sticks, tracing circles in the mud. The adults repair what was broken, grateful that so little was lost. Evenings are the time of stories. After long days of labor, the people gather near the central fire. They sit close, wrapped in cloaks, their faces lit by the flickering glow. The stories they tell are not of heroes or battles, but of the village itself. The time the river froze early, the day a lost traveler was found in the woods, the night the geese warned of wolves. Each tale is a thread that weaves them closer together. The past is not distant here, it lives in every word, every name, every shared silence. As night falls again, the sense of togetherness deepens. The fires burn low, casting long shadows across the ground. Someone hums a slow tune, soft and steady. The air cools, carrying the scent of pine and smoke. The stars appear one by one, the same stars that have guided them for generations. The village breathes in rhythm, slow, calm, alive. In the darkest hours, the watchman walks the narrow paths. His lantern sways gently, the light forming small pools of gold on the ground. He listens to the stillness, to the sighs of sleeping homes, to the distant call of night birds. He knows every creak, every rustle, every sound the night makes. The world outside may hold danger, but within the circle of this small community, there is peace. A peace built not from walls or weapons, but from faith in one another's presence. And so the balance holds. Day follows night, night follows day. Work follows rest, rest follows work. The people live not in fear of what may come, but in quiet readiness. They understand that safety is never perfect, that loss is always possible, but they choose to build anyway, to trust anyway, to share warmth and food and silence. That is their strength, the simple decision to keep going together. When the morning light returns once more, it glows over the same rooftops, the same paths, the same quiet faces. Life continues, steady as ever. The fragile balance remains intact, carried by hands that refuse to let it fall. The medieval world, for all its hardships, holds within it a profound truth. That peace, no matter how delicate, is worth tending, again and again, like a fire that never truly dies. The passage of days and the flow of time. The sun rises again, pale and golden, touching the rooftops of the small village with quiet light. The world wakes as it always does, slow and steady. Smoke begins to drift upward from the chimneys, and the sound of wooden doors opening fills the morning air. The rhythm of life returns without fanfare. There is no need for urgency here. The day unfolds like a familiar song, every note known by heart. Each day resembles the one before it, yet each carries its own shape, its own small differences. The people move through them with calm acceptance. They have learned that time is not something to be controlled, it is something to be carried. The fields need tending, the animals need feeding, the fires need tending, all at their own pace. No one rushes the sun and no one hurries the moon. The seasons are the only clock that matters. Spring arrives on soft feet with the scent of wet soil and new grass. The rivers swell and spill into the lowlands, and birds return to the open sky. Children run barefoot again, their laughter echoing across the fields. The air feels lighter, the colors brighter. After the weight of winter, the earth seems to breathe again. The people mirror that breath. They open windows, clean their tools, and walk with renewed purpose. Summer follows, warm and bright, its days long and generous. The fields grow full, the air hums with insects. The people rise early before the heat becomes too strong. They move in slow rhythm, cutting hay, binding sheaves, hauling wood. Sweat gathers on their skin, their hands rough and browned from sun and labor. Yet in this work, there is peace, the sound of scythes through the grass, the murmur of voices, the occasional song drifting between them. It all becomes part of the world's gentle heartbeat. When evening comes, the air cools. The villagers gather near the well, filling buckets, exchanging quiet words. Someone passes around bread, still warm from the oven. The sky glows orange and then fades to violet. The first stars appear, faint and fragile. Time seems to stretch long and slow, as though even the air is reluctant to move. Autumn comes quietly, without ceremony. The days shorten, and the air carries the faint scent of smoke and fallen leaves. The fields are full once more, grain piled in barns, fruit stored in baskets, herbs drying above the hearth. There is satisfaction in this season, a calm pride in what has been done. The work of months now rests in safety, guarded against the long winter ahead. The evenings are filled with low conversation, the soft rhythm of weaving, and the sound of logs splitting beneath an axe. Each act is a kind of preparation, a way of saying, "We are ready." The pace slows as the first frost touches the ground. Mornings become sharp and clear, breath visible in the cold air. The people wear heavier clothes, their movements more deliberate. The animals grow thick with fur. The trees stand bare, their branches black against the pale sky. Time seems to deepen, to thicken like the smoke curling from every chimney. Inside the cottages, the days shorten further. Light comes through the small windows at an angle, soft and dim. The hours between sunrise and sunset shrink, but they are enough. The people have learned to live within limits. They make repairs, spin wool, and prepare food that will last through the cold months. The fire becomes the center of their world once more. Around it, they share small stories and quiet laughter. Their voices are low, their movements slow. Outside, the wind moves like a distant memory. Days pass, and with them, the years. Children grow taller, their laughter turning into the steady rhythm of work. Faces change, lines deepen, hands grow rougher. The village itself ages with them. The wood darkens, the fences lean, the paths sink deeper into the earth. But nothing feels lost. Everything simply changes shape. The same rhythm carries on, just as the river continues to flow, even when unseen beneath the ice. The people do not measure life in years, but in seasons. They speak not of birthdays or anniversaries, but of harvests, of winters survived, of springs remembered. Their memories are bound to the soil, to the weather, to the turning of the moon. To them, time is not a line, but a circle, endless, returning, gentle. In this slow passage of days, a kind of peace exists that the modern world has forgotten. There is no competition with the clock, no chase for what lies ahead. Each morning brings what it must, and each night folds the world back into silence. The heartbeats of the people match the rhythm of their surroundings, steady, unhurried, eternal. When storms come, they are met without panic. When droughts arrive, they are endured with patience. The people know that no season lasts forever. Change is the only certainty, and within that truth, there is comfort. Even loss becomes a part of the rhythm, like leaves falling in autumn or snow melting in spring. You can almost feel it as you listen, the texture of time in this world. It is not sharp or heavy, it is soft like worn fabric, like the sound of wind through long grass. It moves quietly around you, never stopping, never rushing. It holds both the past and the present, blending them until they are indistinguishable. The moment you are in is all that truly exists, and that is enough. As the evening approaches once more, the village slows. The final light of day touches the walls of the cottages, painting them gold for a fleeting moment before fading. The fires are lit again, and the familiar scent of wood smoke fills the air. People move through the twilight with calm intention. They close the doors, feed the animals, and gather inside. The soft murmur of voices rises once more. The night deepens. Outside, the sky fills with stars. The sound of the wind moving through the trees is steady and low. Inside, the fire crackles, casting gentle shadows across the walls. The people rest, their bodies heavy, their minds quiet. Another day has passed, another has begun. The flow of time continues, constant and kind. And as the fire burns low, the rhythm slows even more. You can feel it, the peace that comes from repetition, from knowing that tomorrow will look much the same. In that sameness lies safety, and in safety, sleep. The medieval world drifts once again into stillness. The days have passed like ripples in a pond, one blending into another until the edges vanish. The people rest, the land breathes, the stars keep their silent watch. Time, endless and soft, folds them all into its gentle embrace. And soon, winter will come again, with its long nights and quiet hours. But for now, the world sleeps beneath the calm hum of the turning seasons, content and unbroken. The long winter nights. Winter comes softly yet completely. The warmth of autumn fades without sound, and the first frost paints the fields in pale silver. The air grows sharper each morning, carrying the scent of smoke and frozen earth. The world slows, then stills. The people of the village draw inward, gathering close to the fires, their movements quieter, their words fewer. The long nights have begun. The days shorten until light feels like a visitor who stays only briefly before leaving again. The sun rises late and slips away early, a faint golden glow lost beneath a grey sky. Shadows stretch across the snow, long and motionless. The air hums with silence. Even the birds have grown quiet, their nests tucked deep within the bare trees. Inside the cottages, the fire becomes everything. It is light, warmth, and life. The people tend it carefully, feeding it with split wood and dried twigs. The crackle of flame fills the room, a soft, steady rhythm. Around it, families sit wrapped in rough blankets, their faces illuminated by the glow. The walls seem to hold the warmth close, protecting it from the cold pressing outside. Each night, the world feels smaller. The edges of life narrow to the space between hearth and bed. Yet within that smallness there is comfort. The darkness outside becomes vast and distant, while inside the air is thick with the scent of bread, wood, and smoke. The slow stirring of a pot, the faint creak of a chair, the soft murmur of voices, these are the sounds of survival, of belonging. The people do not fear the long winter. They have seen it many times. It is simply another season to endure, another test of patience. The earth sleeps and they sleep with it, their days a gentle repetition of tending, mending, and waiting. The animals are quiet in the barns, their breath rising in white clouds. The fields are hidden beneath snow and the world holds its breath. Sometimes the wind rises. It howls across the open land, bending the trees and shaking the shutters. Snow swirls in circles, chasing its own tail before settling again. The people listen to it, not with fear, but with a kind of respect. They know the sound, the feel, the rhythm of it. It is the voice of the season, wild yet familiar. When it passes, silence returns, deeper than before. The long nights stretch endlessly, yet they are not empty. Within them, stories live. As the fire burns low, someone begins to speak. The tales are old, told many times, but always softly, as though the words themselves might disturb the quiet. Stories of the land, the weather, the stars, the ancestors who built the village. Some stories are no more than memories. The winter, when the well froze, the year the deer came close enough to feed, the time the river overflowed and left silver fish in the grass. Each story carries warmth, the kind that lingers long after the fire fades. The children listen, eyes wide, hands tucked beneath the blankets. They fall asleep before the story ends, their dreams mingling with the sound of the flames. The adults continue speaking in low tones, their voices blending with the hum of the wind. There is a gentleness here, a softness that comes only when the world outside has gone silent. At times, the moon rises high and bright, spilling cold light through the small windows. It rests upon the snow, like a reflection of the sun, turning the world to silver. Shadows stretch long and still across the fields. The people inside lie awake for a while, watching the faint glow dance across the walls. The beauty of it is quiet, almost unreal. It belongs to the night alone. When morning comes, it brings a pale light that slips through the mist. The snow glitters untouched and the air smells clean. The world feels new again, though little has changed. The people step outside, their breath visible, their boots crunching on the frozen ground. They carry wood, fetch water, tend to the animals. Each movement is slow, deliberate. In this season, nothing is wasted, not time, not energy, not words. By midday, the fires burn bright again. The people sit together, mending clothes, carving handles, weaving baskets. The rhythm of hands replaces the rhythm of speech. There is no need for many words. The work itself is a language, the slow, repeating gestures that hold the world together. Outside, the snow keeps falling, layer upon layer. It softens every sound, turning the world into a dreamscape of white and grey. The trees stand like dark lines against the sky. The fields vanish beneath the weight of stillness. Even time seems to move differently here, stretching, lengthening, losing its edges. As the evening returns, the light fades once more. The people finish their work, cover the fire with ash to keep it alive through the night, and share one last meal. The room grows dim, the only light coming from the faint red glow in the hearth. The air is warm and heavy. Someone yawns, someone hums, someone closes their eyes. One by one, they drift towards sleep. Outside, the wind picks up again. It sighs through the cracks in the walls, rattles the loose boards and moves on. The sound is almost like breathing, the slow inhale and exhale of the world itself. Snowflakes strike the windows, whispering softly as they melt. The night deepens, and with it, the quiet becomes complete. In this darkness, there is no fear. The world is resting, not dying. The people understand this. They do not fight the stillness, they fold themselves into it. The long winter night becomes a kind of peace, a time to heal, to reflect, to wait. The fire glows faintly in the corner, and beyond it, The stars keep their silent watch. And so, time passes. The nights remain long, but the people remain patient. They know that the earth will turn, that warmth will return. For now they sleep, trusting in the rhythm that has never failed them. Outside, the snow keeps falling, covering everything in silence. Inside, the world dreams. The long winter night does not end suddenly. It fades slowly, gently. The days lengthen by minutes, the light returning like a friend who never meant to leave. But for now, as the stars shine cold and steady, the village sleeps in perfect stillness, its heart beating softly beneath layers of snow. And somewhere, beyond the edge of the village, a faint sound begins, the quiet tread of footsteps on the frozen road, the sign of a traveler moving toward the light of the next hearth. The kindness of strangers. The wind moves softly through the empty fields, carrying with it the whisper of snow. It is night, deep and endless, the kind of darkness that swallows sound and thought. The moon hides behind clouds and the stars seem faint, as if they too are tired of shining. Along a narrow road that twists between the hills, a lone traveler walks. His cloak is heavy with frost, his breath clouding the air in slow, measured bursts. The world around him is silent except for the steady crunch of his boots against the frozen ground. Each step is deliberate, patient. He does not rush. In winter, rushing leads to nothing but mistakes. The traveler's path has no clear destination. Perhaps it began far away, beyond the forest, beyond the river that now sleeps beneath a sheet of ice. Perhaps he has been walking for days or weeks or a lifetime. It is hard to tell. Time in the cold is different. It stretches and bends, losing its edges. All that remains is motion and the simple act of moving forward. His pack is small, his belongings few. A knife. A small loaf of bread wrapped in cloth, a piece of dried meat. He carries them not as possessions but as memories of warmth, reminders that the world still holds kindness somewhere. The night wind bites through the seams of his clothes, but he keeps walking, head bowed, shoulders drawn in against the cold. Ahead, through the blur of falling snow, a faint light appears. It flickers once, then again, like a small heartbeat in the distance. The traveler stops. The air around him feels heavier now, thicker with stillness. The light could be anything, a lantern, a fire, or even his imagination. Yet something in him stirs, something quiet and human. He takes another step, then another, drawn toward the faint glow. As he nears, the shape of a small cottage begins to form out of the darkness. Smoke drifts from the chimney, faint and thin, twisting into the night sky. The windows are small, but through them shines a steady, golden light. The traveler hesitates. He has seen houses before, and not all have opened their doors. In a world so harsh, trust is both a gift and a risk. He stands there for a long moment, listening. From inside comes the soft crackle of fire, the quiet murmur of voices, a child's small laugh. The sound feels like something from another life, something he almost forgot existed. The cold presses closer now, biting at his fingers. With a slow breath, he steps forward and raises his hand. The knock is gentle, barely more than a touch. Once, twice, then silence. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then the door opens and light spills out, warm, golden, soft against the dark. A woman stands there, her face calm and still. The firelight rests on her features, showing the faint lines of years and kindness. She looks at him, not with suspicion, but with quiet thought. Snow clings to his shoulders, his breath ragged in the air between them. She does not ask who he is. She simply steps aside. The traveler nods once in gratitude and enters. The warmth wraps around him instantly. The air smells of wood smoke and bread. His eyes blink against the sudden brightness. In the corner, 2 children sleep under heavy blankets, their faces peaceful. An old man sits by the hearth, mending a net with slow, careful hands. He glances up, meeting the traveler's eyes, and gives a small nod, neither welcome nor refusal, simply understanding. The woman takes his cloak, shaking off the snow, and hangs it near the fire. She gestures toward a stool, and he sits, his body heavy, his legs trembling slightly from the long walk. She ladles broth from a pot hanging above the fire and places it before him. Steam curls upward, carrying the smell of herbs and warmth. He murmurs his thanks, though his voice comes out low and rough. She does not reply. Words are unnecessary here. He drinks, slowly, each sip spreading warmth through his chest and down to his hands. The sound of the fire fills the room, the soft pop of wood, the sigh of the flames. No one asks where he has come from. No one asks where he is going. In this quiet world, questions are heavy things. The only language that matters is small gestures, the sharing of warmth, the passing of food, the silent agreement that tonight he will not be alone in the cold. Hours pass in gentle silence. The woman tends the fire. The old man finishes his mending. The traveler's eyes grow heavy, but he does not fight the weight of sleep. When he finally drifts off, it is to the sound of breathing, steady, human, real. Outside, the wind rises again, brushing against the walls. The snow thickens, erasing his footprints from the path. The night folds itself around the cottage, and for a while, the world beyond ceases to exist. When morning comes, it is pale and quiet. The fire still glows, a faint orange light beneath a bed of ash. The traveler wakes to the smell of bread and wood smoke. The woman moves softly, her hands practiced and sure. The old man pours water into a cup and hands it to him. He nods in thanks, his voice still lost somewhere in the night. The bread is coarse but warm. He eats slowly, aware of the silence that fills the room. It is not an empty silence. It is full of life, of presence. After a while, he stands. His legs ache, but the stiffness is fading. He knows he must go. The road waits as it always does. The woman looks at him briefly, her eyes soft. The old man nods again. There is no ceremony, no farewell. In this world, leaving is as natural as arriving. Before stepping out, the traveler reaches into his pack. From it, he takes a small carving of wood, shaped like a bird with its wings spread. It is rough and simple, but made with care. He places it on the table near the fire, beside a small bowl of salt. The woman looks at it, then at him. For a moment, their eyes meet. She smiles faintly, and he smiles back. He pulls on his cloak, now dry and warm, and steps outside. The cold greets him like an old friend, sharp, honest, unchanging. The world is bright, the snow reflecting the soft gold of the early sun. Smoke rises from the chimney behind him, curling slowly into the air. He walks back to the road, his steps steady, his heart lighter. The path stretches ahead, empty and white. The traveler moves forward, leaving a line of footprints that glimmer briefly before the wind takes them. The silence of the morning is not lonely. It is calm, alive, filled with the faint memory of warmth. Along the road, he meets another traveler, an old woman carrying a bundle of sticks. She pauses as he passes. Their eyes meet. For a brief second, 2 lives touch, and that is enough. He nods once. She nods back. The world does not change, but something within it feels softer. As the day passes, he walks through fields that once bloomed with life, now buried in snow. The fences are half hidden, the trees bare. The river beneath the ice hums faintly, a sound you feel more than hear. The air smells of pine and frost. He moves without hurry, letting the rhythm of his breath set the pace. When night comes again, he finds an old barn by the side of the road. The door hangs crooked, but the roof still holds. Inside, the air is cold but dry. He gathers some straw, lays it out, and sits. The moonlight filters through the cracks in the wood, painting the floor in silver lines. He takes a small piece of bread from his pack and eats it slowly. The sound of the wind outside feels far away now, like a lullaby sung by the earth. He lies down, his head resting on his arm, and closes his eyes. The warmth of the cottage still lingers within him, the fire, the quiet faces, the soft light. The memory glows like a small flame in the center of his chest. It is enough. The night deepens and the stars return, shining brighter now. The cold world outside is vast, but it no longer feels empty. Somewhere in that darkness, others are sitting by their fires, sharing warmth, sharing silence, sharing life. The traveler sleeps, his breathing even, his dreams filled with light. And as the wind moves across the fields, the snow dances in soft spirals, catching the faint glow of the moon. Somewhere far away, the first hint of dawn begins to color the sky. A thin line of gold appears along the horizon, fragile but certain. The night is not gone yet, but the world is already changing. The sun is coming. The return of the sun. The first light comes quietly, almost unnoticed. A thin line of gold appears along the horizon, soft and fragile against the grey. It is not enough to warm the land yet, but it is enough to be seen. The snow that once lay heavy across the fields begins to sparkle, each flake turning to crystal beneath the new light. The sky breathes, and with that breath, the world begins to wake. The long winter has not vanished, not yet. The air is still cold and the nights are still long. But the light stays a little longer each day, creeping gently over the hills, lingering on the rooftops of the small cottages. The people notice it, though they do not speak of it. They feel it in their bones, the shift, the slow return. After months of grey, the gold feels like a promise. Inside the village, smoke still curls from the chimneys, but now it rises through softer air. The frost on the windows melts faster. The sound of dripping water replaces the whisper of snow. The frozen well loosens. The woodpile grows smaller, but the fires burn lower. There is less need now to huddle close. The people breathe more easily. Each morning begins with a little more color. The grey of dawn softens into pale blue. The light stretches across the sky like an old friend returning after a long absence. Children notice it first, running to the door to see the glimmer of the sun rising through the mist. They laugh, pointing, though no one has told them why it feels important. The snow begins to give way. Beneath it, the earth waits, dark, damp, and patient. When the first thaw comes, it is slow, as if the ground itself is waking from a deep dream. The sound of melting snow is everywhere, soft drips from the eaves, the faint trickle of water along the roads, the sigh of streams coming back to life. The fields, once silent, begin to murmur again. The people step outside more often now. They turn their faces to the light, eyes half closed, as though remembering something forgotten. The warmth is faint, but real. It touches their skin, then fades, but even that brief moment is enough. After the long stillness of winter, movement feels new again. The days grow longer, minute by minute. The air changes, the sharpness softens, carrying the scent of damp soil, of wood, of life returning. Birds begin to call from the forest edge, their voices hesitant at first, then clearer. The villagers stop to listen, smiling without realizing. The sound of a single bird can fill the silence that winter left behind. One morning, a man begins to repair the fence along his field. Another clears the path to the well. A woman hangs her washing outside, the linen swaying in the soft breeze. The rhythm of life stirs again, slow but sure. The earth may still be cold, but it no longer feels asleep. At midday, the sunlight lies heavy on the rooftops. It glows through the thin smoke rising from the chimneys, turning it gold. The snow on the roads turns to slush, the water glistening in shallow puddles. Children step through them, laughing as their boots splash. The sound of laughter carries farther now, echoing between the houses like music. In the barns, animals stir restlessly. The cows low softly, sensing the change. The chickens peck at the thawing ground, and the sheep press against the fences, their wool thick and ready to shed. Even the dogs seem lighter, their movements quick and eager. Life, it seems, is returning from its long retreat. The villagers begin their quiet preparations. Tools are repaired, plows cleaned, seeds sorted. The smell of metal, earth, and wood fills the air. The men and women speak of soil and timing, of the first furrows to cut once the ground softens. There is a calm patience in their voices, the kind that comes from living close to the seasons. They do not rush the spring, they wait for it, the W. The traveler too has continued his path. The light that once guided him through darkness now follows him. The frost no longer clings to his cloak. The world around him is softer, brighter. He walks with easier steps, the crunch of snow replaced by the sound of water running beneath the ice. His journey is no less uncertain, but it feels gentler now. The road itself seems to hum with life. One afternoon, he reaches the edge of a valley. Below, a river winds its way between the fields, half covered in melting ice. The sound of the current is faint but sure. He stands there for a long time, watching the light shimmer on the surface. It is the first time he has heard running water in many weeks. The sound is both strange and familiar, a reminder that nothing, not even the frozen world, stays still forever. He follows the river downstream, where the banks are soft and dark with thawing soil. A cluster of reeds bends with the current. The smell of water and mud fills the air. The traveler kneels, cupping his hands into the river. The water is cold, biting, but alive. He drinks slowly, the chill running through him like a spark. When he looks up, the sky is wide and bright. The light has grown stronger now, spreading warmth across the land. The clouds move like soft sails, drifting without hurry. The world feels larger again. As evening comes, the colors deepen. The sun sets in quiet brilliance, orange fading to rose, then to blue. The snow that remains glows faintly, catching the last of the light. The traveler makes camp by a small fire. The flames dance gently, their reflection flickering in the water nearby. He sits and watches as night rises, slow and calm. The stars return, clear and sharp, but the darkness feels lighter now, touched by memory of the day. In the villages, fires burn lower. The people sit near the hearths, but their eyes wander to the windows where the sky still holds a faint glow. There is talk of spring sowing, of tools to mend, of journeys to begin, once the roads clear. Life stretches forward again. The long sleep is ending. And then, one morning, it happens. The first true warmth of the sun touches the earth, not just light, but heat, soft, real, undeniable. The frost that lingers on the grass melts in minutes. The air hums with moisture, with scent, with sound. The first insects appear, tiny and gold, hovering near the edges of puddles. The river sings louder, the world opens its eyes. The villagers step outside one by one and feel it, the warmth, the change, the return. The old man at the well smiles as he draws the first clear water of spring. The woman by the oven opens her door and lets the light spill in. The children run barefoot through the mud, their laughter bright and wild. Even the dogs bark softly, tails high. The traveler reaches the crest of a hill just as the sun climbs fully above the horizon. The light spills across the land, painting everything it touches with gold. The fields, the trees, the rooftops, all glowing, alive, awake. He closes his eyes for a moment, letting it sink into his skin. The air smells of thawing earth, of fire, of something new. The snow is almost gone now, only thin patches clinging to the shade. The world hums quietly beneath the warmth, the rhythm of life returning. He looks down at the valley, at the smoke rising from the chimneys, at the figures moving slowly through the fields. There is no hurry, no noise, no celebration. The people simply continue. The earth turns and they turn with it. The balance restored, as it always is. The traveler breathes in deeply. The light touches his face, and for the first time in a long while, he smiles. The cold is behind him now, and though it will come again, he no longer fears it. The seasons will always return, the sun will always find its way back. And as he begins to walk again, the warmth follows him. The snow melts behind him, leaving soft earth in his wake. The air fills with sound, birds, water, wind. The silence of winter is gone, replaced by the low, steady hum of life. The sun climbs higher. The land glows brighter. The rhythm of the world, long asleep, begins to sing once more. The circle of seasons. The world has warmed again. The frost that once gripped the land has vanished, replaced by soft soil and the faint scent of growth. The sun moves higher each day, patient and bright. The earth breathes and life returns in quiet abundance. What was still now stirs. What was hidden now wakes. The circle begins again. Spring deepens gently. The streams grow stronger, winding through the meadows in long silver threads. Birds gather in the hedges, their songs weaving through the air like a slow melody. The trees, bare for so long, unfurl new leaves, the color of tender light. The grass thickens, and small flowers push through the damp soil, trembling beneath the wind. The people move with the season's rhythm. They rise early, their steps soft in the wet grass. The fields call to them, the open earth waiting expectant. Tools are lifted from their hooks, cleaned and carried out once more. The sound of wood striking earth fills the morning, slow and measured. Each turn of the soil releases a breath of rich scent, dark and alive. It is the smell of beginnings. The men plow, their shoulders bending to the weight. The women follow, scattering seeds from worn baskets. The air hums with effort, but not strain. Each motion is known, passed down through generations. Every mark in the earth is both labor and memory. By midday, the sun stands high and warm. The workers pause, wiping their hands, leaning against their tools. A breeze passes over the fields, carrying the sound of distant laughter. In the village, children chase each other along the paths, their voices light and bright as the season itself. A dog barks once, sharp and happy, before settling in the shade. As the weeks pass, green covers the land. Shoots become stalks, stalks become fields. The rhythm holds steady, days of work, nights of rest, the endless breathing of the world. The air is full of quiet sound, the rustle of crops, the hum of bees, the creak of wagons. Each day ends the same way, with the glow of the setting sun sliding down the roofs, turning the cottages gold before the light fades to blue. Then slowly, summer arrives. The warmth grows deep, heavy with scent. The fields shimmer beneath the heat. The people rise before dawn to work and rest when the sun burns high. Water from the well tastes sweeter in these months. The shadows grow short. The air hums with life. The long days stretch open, full but unhurried. At midday, the sky is white with brightness. The world seems to hold its breath. The river lies still, reflecting the light like a mirror. The people pause in the shade, wiping sweat from their brows. Someone hums a slow tune, a sound that rises and falls with the rhythm of the wind. When evening comes, the light softens. The fields glow with gold and dust. Families gather outside their homes, sharing bread and stories as the sky darkens. The children fall asleep before the stars appear, their dreams filled with the hum of summer insects. The air cools at last. The scent of hay and wood smoke fills the night. Time flows without effort. The sun moves, the moon answers, and the days pass like water over stone. Autumn returns quietly, without surprise. One morning, the air feels sharper, the wind colder. The leaves turn one by one to bronze and red. The fields, heavy with grain, bow toward the earth. The people work long and steady hours gathering the harvest, their hands moving with practiced grace. The barns fill with the color of the season, golden wheat, pale straw, dark fruit. The smell of the harvest is thick and warm. Smoke rises from the chimneys again, carrying the scent of drying herbs. The people's movements are slower now, careful and deliberate. Every stored sack, every tied bundle is a promise against the coming cold. The evenings grow longer, the fires are lit earlier, the village hums with a soft, content rhythm. Inside the homes, the sound of laughter mingles with the crackle of flames. Outside, the wind begins to sing through the bare branches. By the time the last leaves fall, winter is close once more. The circle tightens. The ground hardens again, the sky fades to grey, and the fields rest under the first thin layer of snow. The people withdraw into the warmth of their homes, tending their fires, mending their clothes, sharing their quiet stories. Yet this time, the cold feels different, not cruel, but familiar. The people have learned its ways. They move through it without fear, only patience. They have seen the pattern, lived within it. The circle turns and they turn with it. The days shrink again and the light becomes precious. But even in the shortest days, there is warmth somewhere, inside the hearth, inside the heart. The people wait, as they always have, for the sun to return. And they know it will. Seasons pass, not as strangers, but as friends. Each has its own voice, its own gifts. Spring teaches renewal. Summer brings abundance. Autumn offers preparation. Winter gives rest. Together they shape a rhythm that is older than memory, older than fear. To live in this world is to belong to it completely. The people do not ask why the seasons change. They listen, they follow, they endure. They measure time not in numbers, but in patterns. The first bloom, the last harvest, the cry of the geese as they cross the sky. You can feel it in the air, the softness of spring mornings, the hum of summer fields, the hush of autumn evenings, the calm of winter nights. Each blends into the next, seamless and eternal. The circle does not break. It only begins again. When the traveler passes through the village once more, the people greet him with simple nods. They do not ask where he has been. They understand the road as part of the same cycle. He stays a few days helping with small work, mending a fence, repairing a roof. Then, as quietly as he arrived, he moves on. The world continues behind him, steady as ever. The seasons turn. The land breathes. The people live. Nothing is lost. Everything changes. And when night falls again, the stars rise just as they always have, bright, distant, calm. The moon traces her path across the sky, slow and sure. The earth turns beneath, silent and constant. The fire in each home burns low. The air grows still. The only sound is the faint crackle of wood and the slow, steady rhythm of breathing. The world, once more, is at rest. This is the circle of life in the old world, endless, patient, whole. There is no beginning, no end. Only the quiet turning of time, the soft voice of the wind, and the heartbeat of the earth beneath it all. The memory of the earth. The seasons have turned again. The fields are green once more, the sky wide and clear. The earth breathes slowly, patient as always. The people move through their days with quiet rhythm, their steps soft against the soil that has carried them for generations. Everything that lives leaves a trace, and the land remembers it all. The earth holds the memory of footsteps, of hands that planted seeds and harvested grain, of laughter that echoed through the fields, and of silence that followed after. Every path in the village is worn into the ground not just by time, but by belonging. The soil is rich because of it, fed not only by rain and roots, but by the countless moments that have passed upon it. In the early morning, when the mist still hangs low and the world is hushed, the fields shimmer faintly with dew. If you listen carefully, you can almost hear the quiet pulse beneath the ground, the rhythm of years layered upon years, the slow heartbeat of life returning and fading again. The earth is not still, it is always breathing. It carries the memory of everything it has touched. The villagers know this, even if they do not speak of it. They feel it in their bones. When they work the soil, they do so with respect, with gentleness. The same fields that feed them also cradle their past. The same earth that grows their food holds the remains of those who came before. A man turns the ground with his spade, and the air rises thick with the scent of soil and time. He pauses, wiping his brow, and looks across the field. The horizon stretches far and calm, lined with trees that have stood longer than memory. Each one has seen the same pattern, the coming and going, the planting and the harvest, the birth and the rest. Nearby, an old woman gathers herbs by the stream. Her movements are slow but sure. She knows where each plant grows, how each one smells, how the soil feels when it is ready. She does not think of it as work. It is a conversation, quiet and endless, between her and the land. In the village, the sound of a hammer rings softly through the air. A craftsman repairs the wheel of a cart. The wood creaks, the metal hums under his touch. His tools are old, worn smooth by decades of use. They too carry memory, the memory of labor, of care, of the human will to shape and mend. By midday, the world hums with life. Smoke rises in thin lines from the cottages. The air smells of bread, of hay, of warm dust. Chickens move through the yards, pecking at the soft earth. The distant sound of water turning over stones comes from the stream. It is the same sound heard centuries ago, unchanged, repeating through the flow of time. In the afternoon, when the sun hangs low, the light turns golden. It glides across the fields, softening everything it touches. The people pause to rest. They sit together on low benches, their hands still dirty, their faces lined but calm. They do not speak much. Words are unnecessary when the silence itself is full. The children play nearby, their laughter rising into the air like birdsong. They run along the same paths their parents once did, their feet striking the same dust, their shadows stretching across the same ground. The earth welcomes them without distinction. It remembers the small and the old, the loud and the quiet, the fleeting and the lasting. As the day fades, the wind changes. It carries with it the scent of dusk, cool, sweet, full of endings. The people finish their work. The tools are gathered, the doors closed. The fires begin to glow once more. The light flickers across the walls, dancing like memory itself. The earth listens. Beneath its surface, roots move, worms turn, water flows. The land is alive in ways unseen. It does not forget. Every drop of sweat, every footprint, every fallen leaf becomes part of its story. Even when the people sleep, the world beneath them keeps its quiet watch. Night comes slowly, gently. The sky deepens to indigo, the stars appearing one by one. The moon rises pale and constant. The light spills across the fields, revealing faint marks where the day once moved. The footprints fading in the dust, the traces of hands on wooden gates. In time, all will be gone, but not lost. The earth remembers. Generations pass. The cottages change, rebuilt and repaired. The names of the people fade, but their work remains. The walls they raised, the paths they walked, the seeds they planted. Even the smallest act becomes part of something larger, something endless. The land absorbs it all, patient and still. The traveler passes through again, older now. His beard is grey, his steps slower, but his eyes carry the same quiet calm. He walks through the fields and feels the same weight beneath his feet, the same memory, the same hum. He kneels once, pressing his palm to the ground. The soil is warm from the day's sun. He smiles. The earth knows him, even if no one else does. He reaches the village at dusk. The air is filled with smoke and voices. He sees faces that remind him of others long gone, eyes, gestures, smiles carried through time like echoes. The people welcome him without questions. They do not need to know his name. He is part of the pattern, part of the memory the land keeps alive. He stays the night. The firelight glows against the walls, painting everything in gold and shadow. He listens to the soft murmurs of those around him, the rhythm of breath, the creak of wood, the sigh of the wind. It feels the same as it always has. It feels eternal. When morning comes, he steps outside. The world is damp with dew, the sun barely touching the horizon. Birds move through the mist. The traveler looks once more at the fields, the trees, the cottages. Everything glows faintly, as if lit from within. He knows the pattern will continue without him. The people will live, work, love, and rest. The earth will hold their memory as it has held his. He begins to walk again. His shadow stretches behind him, long and thin. The air smells of soil and sky. Beneath his feet, the ground is soft, alive. Every step feels like part of something larger, something that began long before him and will go on long after. The earth remembers everything. The warmth of the sun, the touch of rain, the rhythm of footsteps. It holds the shape of each life gently, folding it into itself. Nothing truly leaves, it only changes form. What once was human becomes soil. What once was sound becomes silence. What once was today becomes tomorrow. The traveler disappears down the road, his figure small against the vastness of the land. The fields shimmer in the morning light. The sky opens wide above, calm and endless. The world turns as it always does. The memory remains. And when the night returns, the earth will breathe again, steady and kind, carrying within it all that has ever been, every voice, every season, every heartbeat. In its quiet depths, nothing is forgotten. Everything rests in peace. The quiet horizon. The world rests beneath a soft sky. The last light of evening spreads wide and slow, painting the fields in gold and grey. The air carries the faint scent of earth and wood smoke, warm and familiar. The horizon stretches endlessly, calm and low, as though the world itself is taking a breath before night. It has been many seasons since the traveller's first steps upon this land. The paths he once followed are still there, though softened by time. The cottages have changed, some rebuilt, some gone, but their chimneys still send smoke into the quiet air. The people move with the same rhythm as before, measured, calm, enduring. The pattern holds. The circle continues. The river flows as it always has, winding between the fields, silver in the fading light. The water hums against the stones, a song without words, steady and unending. The trees bend gently in the wind, their leaves whispering above the stillness. Even the air seems to remember everything that has passed, each harvest, each winter, each breath. The traveller stands at the edge of the village, watching the light fade. He listens to the sound of life moving, children calling softly from doorways, the creak of wood as shutters are closed, the faint echo of laughter fading into the dusk. There is comfort in these sounds, as if the world is saying that nothing ever truly ends, it only grows quieter. He walks slowly toward the fields. The soil beneath his feet is soft, cool and full of memory. The smell of it rises with each step, a scent that speaks of rain, of work, of years layered one upon another. The grass bends under his weight and springs back again. The wind moves around him, lifting the hem of his cloak, carrying with it the quiet voice of the earth. At the edge of the fields, he stops and looks out toward the horizon. The sun has almost gone, leaving a narrow band of light where sky meets land. The clouds drift like soft smoke, their edges glowing. The world feels vast yet close. Every sound, every movement, every breath seems part of one single, endless rhythm. He sits on a low stone and rests his hands on his knees. The air cools as the last of the light fades. The sky deepens to blue, then to grey. Stars appear one by one, shy and small at first, then bright and steady. The moon rises slowly, pale and gentle, lighting the fields with a silver glow. The village below grows quiet. The fires dim. The people sleep. The world turns softly around them, the same way it always has. The traveller closes his eyes, listening. He can hear the faint crackle of a distant hearth, the low call of an owl, the whisper of water somewhere in the dark. These sounds weave together into something like a lullaby, old and eternal. He remembers the faces he has seen, the hands that offered bread, the fires that burned through the long nights. He remembers the silence of the forests, the calm of the fields, the kindness that lived quietly between strangers. Each memory drifts through him like falling snow, soft, fleeting, perfect. There is no sorrow in remembering, only stillness. Everything he has seen is still here in some way, carried by the land, by the people, by time itself. The earth does not forget, and neither does the heart. The night grows deeper. The stars scatter across the sky in wide, shimmering paths. The moonlight glides across the river, the rooftops, the fields. The wind moves gently, bending the grass, stirring the air. The world breathes and the traveler breathes with it. He lies back against the ground, feeling the coolness of the earth beneath him. The soil cradles him like an old friend. The scent of it fills the air, rich and calm. Above him, the sky expands without end. Each star feels close enough to touch, yet impossibly far away. In this quiet place, time loses its edges. The days and nights blend into one another, seamless and soft. There is no before or after, only the rhythm of life continuing, birth and growth, rest and renewal. The traveler closes his eyes and the sound of the world surrounds him. The faint hum of wind, the murmur of distant water, the soft rustle of leaves. Somewhere far away, a door closes, a fire flickers, a child turns in sleep. The village breathes together, one slow heartbeat in the vastness of the world. The traveler's thoughts drift like clouds. He imagines the seasons turning again, the first thaw, the green of spring, the brightness of summer, the gold of autumn, the stillness of winter. Each one returns gentle and sure, bringing both change and peace. The land holds them all, patient and kind. He knows he is part of that pattern now, part of the earth's memory, as all who live and breathe eventually become. His journey was never about distance, but about belonging to the soil, to the wind, to the quiet turning of time. The stars above shimmer like frost, and the moonlight rests upon his face. The air grows cool, sweet with the scent of night. Everything feels vast, but nothing feels lonely. The silence is full, alive with the memory of everything that has ever been. As he drifts towards sleep, the world seems to lean closer, its voice a low hum, deep and steady. The wind softens, the earth warms beneath him, the rhythm of his breath slowing to match the rhythm of the night, and so the traveler lies still beneath the sky, his heartbeat fading into the quiet pulse of the earth. The stars turn above him, slow and patient. The horizon glows faintly in the distance, not with fire, but with the soft promise of another dawn. The wind quiets, the river moves on. The sky turns once more. The world sleeps,